people join the National Guard to be able to brag that they are they're veterans, they serve their country, and I applaud that. I think that's very important. But we should know what our service is all about.
When it comes to Tropical Depression Debbie and its ongoing march up the East Coast,
flooding is probably still the biggest threat, and that's from northern Mid-Atlantic into portions of New York, upstate New York. Could be some significant flooding today in those areas, and we're still getting some heavy rainfall across portions of the eastern Carolinas that have already seen a lot of rain, so there's some significant flooding still ongoing there.
That's Mark Chenard at the National Weather Service. The storm has claimed 8 lives. The latest fatality, a 78-year-old woman. Authorities say she was killed when a tree fell on her home in North Carolina. Watching Wall Street ahead of this morning's opening bell, the Dow futures are down 92 points. NASDAQ futures off 96. S&P futures 19 points lower. More on these stories at townhall.com. If you're 60, Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert.
Morning, Chopper!
There is a way out. All you need to do is
I gotta go to Monroe today. Excuse me. I just got off the phone with my boss. I gotta go to Monroe today. 800-511-1551. You're up for a minute? Good job, brother.
Enhancing collections. COVID is over and they are back in full force, levying bank accounts and garnishing wages. It's your money. Don't let them take it. Call Ultimate Tax Help now. 888-505-1099. Their super team of tax specialists will contact the IRS and stop all collections. Missing tax filings? No problem. Stop the stress. Ultimate Tax Help is an A+ rated 5-star company. 888-505-1099. Call now. 888-505-1099.
The U.S. and other mediators are calling for the resumption of Gaza's ceasefire negotiations.
The leaders of the United States, Egypt, and Qatar have jointly issued a statement today demanding that Israel and Hamas return to stalled talks next week on the war in Gaza. The statement says only the details of carrying out a ceasefire and hostage release remain to be negotiated, and that there is no further time to waste nor excuses from any party for further delay. On Thursday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said that on August 15, Israel would send the negotiations team to a place still to be determined in order to finalize the details and implementation of a framework agreement. Donna Warner, Washington.
Austrian authorities announcing a third arrest in connection with the foiled conspiracy to attack 3 now canceled Taylor Swift concerts in Vienna. Investigators say the scheme inspired by ISIS and Al-Qaeda. News and analysis at
Truth is the authority. All right, first thing, bring your A game because I'll take nothing less. We're going to have an open and honest discussion, but the facts matter. Let's talk about the people. It's common sense. It's principles and policies that work for everybody. I just want to talk about how to fix this country. Good day to the show.
Hey, someone. We're heading up to Monroe. I just got off the phone with my boss. Wasn't even going to stream on the way in today, but since it's a longer drive, I kicked it on.
Patriot Channel 125. I'm Tim Young, filling in for David Webb today. And Tim runs his mouth. Let's just have a talk. Can we just have a talk for a quick moment? Because I got a lot to talk about today. We're obviously going to beat up on Tim Walz all day. He's so folksy. By the way, that story about him is true. Woof. Go follow me on Twitter. And here's why. If you've never done it before, you should go follow me for the free content that I put out on Twitter. Because I always say I'm getting dangerously close to 1 million followers. And the last time I was here, I don't know where I was, but we had a bit of a surge on the old Twitter. And I am within 5,000 of 1 million followers on Twitter. So if 5,000, you go tell your friends and family, my birthday was last week, you know, you're thinking to yourself, boy, I haven't heard Tim's majestic voice in the morning in a very long time. And the next time I come in, I just want to give him something. And not a piece of my mind. I don't want to hear this your idea. 1-866-957-2874. We can talk about that later. And you just want to like, you're like, hey man, if I knew fill-in host, not at all diverse Tim Young was filling in. What I just want to give him something. Well, here's what you can do. You go to Tim Runs His Mouth on Twitter and on Instagram, but first on Twitter, and you follow me, and you get me a little closer to 1 million. I'm just sitting on top of it. Arbitrary number. I mean, really, when you're at 995,000 followers, pretty good. Not okay. Unrealistic conversation.
So we'll definitely do a desktop stream, and we'll stay on actually YouTube for a while
because
today.
I'm obsessed.
Chopper can't watch.
Going down with the
He
shit
can't
on
click
this.
on the link to go to
Watching these
Rumble.
numbers, I'm like, oh man, I'm getting real close now. I check them more. So that's all I got. That's the show for today. I'm just gonna the next 3 hours will be a couple of guests and me saying go follow me on Twitter. At the beginning of that, hey, I realized recently, and we can get into this by the way. If you want to talk about Tim Walz, you want to talk about Kamala Harris, we can do that. You know, I like to be a little different when I talk about things on the radio. I like to talk about life. I like to be entertaining. You know, some people say I'm not serious enough sometimes. For serious, I can't be serious enough for, you know, breaking down serious political topics. So some other companies have hired me to do that, but you know, sometimes I'm not serious enough to do serious topics. Here's a serious topic. I believe now, and I'm starting to sound like a liberal. I'm starting to sound like a leftist. You know, it started when I was anti-big pharma and anti-war and anti-big government.
No password.
By the way.
You have a Gmail, man. All you gotta do is click on login with Gmail. And you have an account.
George W. Bush. Boy, do I owe them an apology. But they're all gone now.
You don't even need to put in a password.
They've bought their Subarus and cats. And now just cheer on. I think COVID set a lot of people up a wall. Made me go left because I hate big pharma and big box stores and big corporations. I realized something else that I'm not a big fan of recently. And I'm going to start talking about the system, which I never thought as a conservative and a reasonably young man, incredibly handsome, not at all diverse. Something that I realized is that the system is designed to hold you down.
Got little twin
and keep you
Subarus
poor
in front of me
and
here.
keep you unhealthy. And the way we win is by being independent, doing things on our own, and not needing the system.
Okay, I go over to the fast lane and they speed up.
Turns out the wife, Melanie Spencer, she might change her name at some point, but you know, honestly, I don't care. Again, big liberal. We're going to buy an house. And we're going to get financed.
I'm not trying to upset you, brother.
Turns out, I don't have any debt. None.
I don't know. I just assume most people use Gmail when they log into Yahoo, or I mean into YouTube.
Big Al does not have a credit card.
Just makes it easy.
Hasn't needed one. She's a fine young lady, sub 30 years old. And,
I know other people still use the Yahoos.
And live within her means. For a younger person,
I'm not trying to upset you,
Gen Zer,
but you know I could literally walk you through doing
In
it.
fact, she is of the two people who spend money in this household. I'll tell you this, my birthday was last week. I went to a vintage toy convention. And I went nuts. I won't bore you with my nerddom. That is a producer, Anthony.
Oh no, that's why he had to move there. I mean, he said he moved because of his wife.
And he can be like, whoa, and then he sends me all of the Star Wars things.
But yeah.
And then we just melded in. We're like, hey, how much did you blow away?
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
So she doesn't waste money. I'm the one that spends money. So we gotta
Holy
get
crap.
financing for
Why are we hitting the brakes?
And we do good. We do okay. God bless you. That's why I don't ask for money.
People don't know how to fucking drive. Nice Beamer, though. That's a nice Beamer.
And we go to get financing on a house in Anchorage. I don't know what we're doing. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't know if we can give you the financing on a house because she's. The banker goes, I'll give you credit. I've never really seen anybody who has zero debt like this. But you have like no debt. Yeah. Crazy concept. Personal responsibility. I don't, I will go to
sure you are, Chopper. I'm sure you're very familiar with those fucking dirt balls.
We just don't have numbers. We don't
Sucks.
have sometimes crazy people we work for ourselves. So we're
I'd
10
much rather be living in Michigan, but I can't under the people that are governing it.
Now, apparently, it would be nothing in the back. It would be higher qualified. All the debt would be higher qualified to get a mortgage for a house. Realized that the system is actually designed to keep you poor. Now, I know that I've heard the leftists say this for a while. Man's holding you down. Well, that's a very generic term, that man is holding you down. That could be lots of things to lots of people. Just like climate change could be lots of things to lots of people. You know, it's raining one day. You go outside and you go, oh, I hate this climate change. Or, yesterday here, we've been over 100 degrees. For some reason, I'm going for walks at 103 degrees here in town. Fantastic grapevine, Texas. You go for a walk, and you go outside, you go, oh, climate change. See, that term is designed so that it's individualized, so it's subjective to the person. You can walk outside, you go, oh, it's hot, climate change. Oh, it's raining, it's climate change. Oh, there's a quarter inch of snow on the ground, climate change. Because the global warming thing wasn't working, I suppose. And the waters aren't really rising here. So, I'm sure some of you have been through this. We're going to kick it off. We've got, by the way, Jack Brewer here coming up. He's going to talk about Minnesota and all of it. Jack Brewer, chairman of the Jack Brewer Foundation. Great guy. Really good guy. Does a lot of great work. We're talking about everything. He was a former Minnesota Viking. He knows this Tim Walz character and what Minnesota could have been and where it is now. But I look at the system and I go,
We're going to listen to this at home or at work today, too.
They are actually holding.
But I'm going to
down.
have to grind. I got to get like 5
The
people.
fact that you're higher qualified for a loan to be able to buy a house, to own property in this country, you're higher qualified if you're in piles of debt than you are with no debt should disturb everyone. And it's hard for me to bring up, I don't want to bring up numbers. I'm not going to talk numbers of value and what we have in the bank and stuff like that. But we're close enough that we might just wait and buy the house cash. I just thought, hey, let's get it financed and maybe not go too deep in. But I cannot believe, and this is eye-opening. Look, I am a spry young man. I'm still a little bit older. I've never owned a home. My parents did. I've always rented because I lived in places where it's conducive to renting, right? So I've been, LA, New York, DC, all those libby towns. So now in Texas, we're ready to settle down, getting married, doing the whole thing, and then buying a house. And I just cannot believe that the system is designed to keep you in the hole. They will give, one of my friends is he's not a mortgage broker. He's kind of a statistician for one of the bigger banks. Works on the back end and works on the numbers, and he does the foreclosures on houses. This housing market is about to completely crumble. He has warned me about this for a bit, but he said part of the reason is what I kind of came around to on my own, because I called everybody Blaine, and I called my statistician buddy first.
I also have, I don't know if you,
and he said,
if you're on,
we're giving loans to. And the scenario I gave you,
the Twitters, Marex, whatever. But my last post is a video about someone that served with him and about how he abandoned them when they went to
They have shown fiscal irresponsibility because of all the debt and everything
serve.
they've dug into.
Actually,
and I'm not talking about
when
stuff
they went to
that's
his
stuff
unit went to
that
Iraq.
people, can't control. I'm talking stuff you can control, where you just spend way outside.
Howdy, unindoctrinated.
He says it is very common that many banks have given loans to those people, and that the system has been teetering on collapse for a while. He also said, hey, wait a little longer.
Oh yeah, he was.
But I just look at this, and literally, and again, this
That,
is
I mean, I'm no friend of the cops, but that cop did not kill him.
Look,
He overdosed.
we're gonna talk Kamala into
The autopsy said it.
Right now, you want to go see ridiculous videos. I actually unearthed the video of Kamala Harris, quote unquote, pumping electric into an electric car because she thinks it's like pumping gas.
That was just
She's an idiot. And she talks about
fuel for the fire that they wanted to set anyway. If it wouldn't have been George Floyd, it would have been somebody else or another situation. Like I said, I'm no friend of
She's dangerous
cops.
because not only she's stupid, she's...
Come on, dude, get out of the way. I'm
And you can
gonna
see
hurry.
that she was responding to protesters yet again. You can see that in the amount of staff turnover. She's got record staff turnover for an executive office in DC, at least in the past 2 decades. So we'll get to all that, but before that, I'm just going to share my shock and awe and understand now. My eyes have been opened to a world where it's designed to hold you down, to keep you poor. You know, when you look at the...
And he was no command sergeant, mate. Well, he got the promotion, but he didn't do the schooling required to keep it, so he got demoted. He retired a master
But it
sergeant.
is designed to keep you... The system is designed to
Ooh,
keep
there's a
you
cop
out.
hidden up ahead, it
I mean,
says.
that food pyramid that we were talking about, all the chemicals that go into our look, I sound like a liberal. All the chemicals that go into our vegetables and fruits that we're consuming on a regular basis. For all we know, they're throwing vaccines and everything you can think of, antibiotics and meat. Why? Again, and this is I have done a 180 from where I was in 2021. Sorry, 2021, 2000. I mean, almost 180 from where I was in 2021 too. From when Big Pharma was going crazy. Actually, 2020. But
Oh, shit.
I never saw it coming. So shame on me for not seeing it coming. Shame on me for trusting the system for any amount of time. But the system is designed to keep you fat and lazy.
Oh, shit.
The system is designed to keep you poor. The system is designed to make you rely.
Gotta go left and right.
Come
on.
Control over
Are you getting on there?
So if you want to be a good conservative, if you want to be a good steward to yourself and your family, you gotta live outside the system. Boy, do I sound like a liberal.
No.
It's okay
No, he was
to
a
be
piece of
debt-free.
shit.
It's okay to be healthy and find the right diet that is good.
But
And a
he's
lot
their
of times
saint.
it involves a lot more
He's
meat
their
than
Saint
what-
Floyd.
When I hear, liberals say, oh, meat's bad for you, you should eat bugs, you should, eat vegetable protein, I'm like, sounds like meat's great. It is, it's delicious too. But all of this stuff, you take a look at it, you take a look at the system, it's literally keep you poor, keep you fat, keep you lazy, keep you reliant on the government. Amazing to me. Boy, have my eyes been open this week with the financial thing, though. Holy moly. 1-866-957-2874 is the number. It's the David Webb Show on SiriusXM Patriot Channel 125. When we come back, one of my favorite people, Jack Brewer. We're going to kick off our talk. But we're going to talk about politics with Jack Brewer coming up. And specifically Minnesota. I used to love Minneapolis. Pre-COVID, pre-George Floyd, Minneapolis. One of the coolest cities. Not anymore. You thank Tim Walsh for that. David Webb Show, SiriusXM Patriot Channel 125. We'll be back in a minute.
After the David Webb, the country. After Webb. The Will Calvageorge coming up next at noon.
Oh, wow, they redid the road here. Man, has it been that long since I've been this way?
I'm an American veteran. I'm proud, simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Car Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works and then arrange a time they can come and pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program right now. They'll come and pick your car up for free.
Midwest, what up, all? I'm gonna be on the main channel in a bit. I had to. We got a emergency order for people in up here in Monroe, so I'm heading up there. Heading up to the Michigan office, Monroe. I gotta find 5 people somehow. Actually, more than that.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare information guide absolutely free. Call 800-978-1515. That's 800-978-1515. 800-978-1515.
School choice.
Conservative principles live here. Serious examination. Channel 125.
Somehow I gotta produce 5 people out my ass, even though I haven't been up here in what 3 months since fucking April or May, early May.
tim@timyoung.com. I'll send you some merch. Thank you. You're the most wonderful person.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. I was tickled to death. Tickled to death when I tuned in this morning, and there you were. I'm going to have a good day. Hey, you bye now.
Oh, thank you, Kathy. Oh my gosh. Let's get to our VIP, Jack.
You're gonna be driving pretty soon, Mitty?
With me. I just had to take. Do you understand why I had to take that call, right? Well, listen. You and I.
Oh, good night, Midwest. Okay, you're getting some sleep.
I blame Jillian Anderson for that. You were a grapevine.
Hey, you too, Midwest. Love you, buddy. If you're still here.
Basically, I mean, I'd like to say that. And I'm in Grapevine. You are just honestly a bedrock in the community. Your family's been a bedrock in the community here for a very long time. But another place that you've been a bit of the community is Minnesota. You played for the Vikings, and so you have a little bit of a touch of what Minnesota and Minneapolis could be, and what it's become.
Yeah, it's disappointing. You know, I went to college in Minnesota, got my undergrad, got my master's there. Had football team, you know, had the Vikings. You know, married a beautiful woman from Minnesota. So all my family's there, in-laws are there. Two of my cousins that went to Minnesota with me. One was a great running back. They're all there teaching in schools and friends and family there. And the place has just been ravaged, man. I mean, it has been ravaged by wokeness, right? It has been ravaged by this feel-good, want to appease everyone mentality. That's really been devastating on that community. You look at the school system, and you see the disparities. I mean, you want to talk about DEI and racial disparity. So the Minnesota is the capital of disparity. I mean, in the Twin Cities, which is the largest metropolis area, crimes that really hit the inner cities, you start looking at small robberies, burglary amounts, and vandalism, and all those type of crimes. Those are poverty crimes. And those things start to spike when people are in despair. And that's what...
That's a black man. He's like, I'm tired of this shit.
Telling small boys, young men...
The woke DEI bullshit, destroying companies, destroying fucking everything, man.
I mean, you talk about something sick in the minute. I mean, there's just legislation in Minnesota. They put tampons in boys' bathrooms. I mean, so just think about the mentality of the people to be pushing something so idiotic.
Jack, I tell you, and you can tell me if I'm out of line. And God bless me, I've been watching all the coverage. Said like he makes like tater tot casserole or something. This guy reminds me with his policy compared to the character that he tries to portray in the media and what they're trying to frame him with. In like one of those like horror movies where you meet the nice family and it turns out they're cannibals. You know, it's just like, it's that kind of crazy thing, right?
It is. It really is, man. And you see him and he's like, you know, he has this great personality, but then you listen to what he's saying, what he represents, and it's like, man, you get a dark, demonic feel to it, man. And it's a little wild, and it's hard to put your finger on.
Come on.
But I think it represents what the left has become. I think it represents kind of what the new base of the left is. You know, listen, I'm a lifelong Democrat, man. I have been a Democrat the vast majority of my life. I understand, right, the issues that they claim to be important to them are important to me, right? I work in prisons and jails every day of my life. I spend time running programs in there. I try to serve the poorest of the poor people every single day of my life for the majority of my working hours. And so I can say that, but that doesn't make me a leftist. And I think they want America to believe that if you're for helping anybody, if you're for helping any underserved population, that you got to be aligned with them. Otherwise, you're not. And I think that's where they've gone wrong. I think that's what's waking up America, is they're starting to see the details of their policies. I think the leftist media really is a multi-billion-dollar arm for the Democratic Party because the messaging. I mean, if you can run for the President of the United States and go 20 days without taking a question in the most contentious race of our generation, and you're not taking questions from the media, and that same media is portraying you in a light that's positive across most major platforms, and we're on the brink of being like Russia and China, man. It's scary.
I think I've told you this before on air, but you're the best worst guest because I have you're so thorough with your answers that like I have all these questions and follow-ups. I'm like, no, I want to follow up with this. I'm like, I have to take notes with you because you're so good, Jack. I want to play this because when you said how, you know, being kind to others, how they like conflate it. This is my favorite Tim Walz quote. I think you can hear this here. Hold on, ready?
But we can get out there, reach out, make the case, and for one thing, don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness.
If you're nice to people, it must be socialism, right?
Of course. Are you kidding me? You can't. I mean, for what America was founded on, like you are selfish, and you aren't nice, and you aren't loving your neighbor. I mean, this guy is unbelievable to even hear that, and the fact that most people that say something like that could never run for office. Let's go back real quick. Let's go back 4 years, right? 4 years ago, Bernie Sanders was literally winning the Democratic nomination by votes. He didn't get placed into it. by votes. And this guy, Tim Walz, is more socialist than Bernie. And Bernie Sanders was taken out of the Democratic Party the same way they did with Joe Biden this time. So people are talking about, oh, this is happening. They did the same thing last election. Bernie Sanders was winning. He dropped out of the race and handed it to Joe Biden. People forget that in 4 years. And the same thing has happened. Well, 4 years ago, they wouldn't allow that to happen. This is how progressive this party has gotten in just 4 years. So imagine what's going to happen if they actually win this election. Imagine how fast they're going to change this country forever. All the things that we grew up thinking about, being about the things that motivate us to vote now, we on the brink of losing that hope. And I hope America realizes it.
Yeah. It wasn't just Bernie that dropped out. Just before that, it was a coordinated effort. I think it was, like 7 or 8 candidates all dropped out on the same day to try to rig the election. It was ridiculous. The only person they left in was Elizabeth Warren, who could take votes away from Bernie, and then Bernie finally dropped out. But the coordination there and the just ripping off of the vote, they don't care. They just rip off their voters. I want to kind of switch a little bit, not really switch topics here, but, this identity politics game that Kamala does. I as a comic, and I've worked as a dirty comic before. I know that's, against many, many people's values to listen to this, but I used to work blue. I would never think to do an impersonation or a stereotypical African-American voice, or like an Ebonics sounding voice. But she pulls that out to pander. Is that not just a total slap in the face to everyone?
It really is, and the reason it is because, if she did it and she didn't have a history of pandering to voters, right? You may laugh at it, right? You can find some humor sometimes in some things, but you're talking about a woman who literally only identifies with a particular section of people that benefits her for votes and for power. I mean, this woman literally went out and had specials on CNN, deep dives and conversations about being the first Indian American senator, vice president, attorney general. I mean, that's all she talked about. And for her father to come out and say he is a Caucasian person from Jamaica, I don't really care if you want to call me, say, claim black people, black, whatever, it's all good. But don't just use that in a time to divide this nation and to pander your votes. This is too critical a time. If you really cared about the country, you wouldn't do that. And that's my point. If you were really black, you wouldn't do that. And if you were really black, you wouldn't have to talk people into believing it. I can tell you right now, if I ever ran for office or ever did anything, I wouldn't have to convince anybody that I was black. If you're black, everyone knows it. You don't gotta talk anybody into that. And so that's my message.
Yeah, it's crazy. Pivoting back here to Minneapolis was one of my favorite cities in the country for a very long time. I used to fly in. I used to have my birthday meal at a place called Ice House, and then go get the best cocktails I've ever had in my life at a place around the corner called Eat Street Social. I also happened to be there during COVID. I was traveling the country covering the effect of COVID on small business during that time, and I happened to roll into town when the George Floyd riots broke loose. One of the things that I noticed, because I went during the day, I obviously wasn't there, I didn't want to be there at night, but when I went during the day was that there was a great community in Minneapolis that was helping clean up and work together to try to correct for the disaster that was caused by these rioters who came into town and destroyed most of the town and encouraged criminals in town to help destroy the town. But there was no help to rebuild that community. It was all internal. A lot of businesses went out of business because of that. Like literally, Tim Walz and all of the government infrastructure there allowed black businesses to die. You've seen this, right? I mean, have they? This is what they want for America, isn't it?
Yes, it's all they know, right? They don't have any support support systems and support networks for those that are in capitalism. So it doesn't matter race, doesn't matter your socioeconomic status. They just don't support growth in free markets, in capitalism. And so that the black business owners felt that. I mean, literally, you can go to these places now, and I have family there, and that have all left from downtown Minneapolis and had to move. Why? Because it's unsafe when they go through the streets. All the businesses have closed down and had to leave. They're boarded up still. And so you're right. They didn't offer relief to them in the months after, and they still haven't offered relief to them now. And that is what's so sad, is that now you're in places where obviously if you are in lower income areas, you put a bigger portion of your net worth, your life savings into these businesses, and many of these people had to just watch them all burn. And so now, when they're folks that were entrepreneurs,
All right, y'all.
I
gotta get to work. I'll get it going when I can, but I gotta hit the ground running in here because we need a ton of people.
The economic level.
Love you. Thanks for hanging out.
The city, and it's
when I'm able to go live, I will on the main channel. Peace.
Because the job